Welcome to this week's TDD report for the week ending March 26. Please pardon my voice because I've been still getting over a cold for the last 2 weeks, so this report won't be super long. Hopefully my voice holds out for it. This week I want to talk about archiving and backing up and what kind of strategy do you have for backing up. This particularly relates to the fact of I was talking in a conversation with a friend of mine a few months ago about saving information maybe for your grandkids or your great-grandkids to be able to see in the future, whether it be your videos, your blogs, photographs, writings, things like that, and particularly as it relates to computer use. What kind of format are you going to have it in? Are they actually going to have a device by the time it gets to your great-great-grandkids to be able to read this information on? And as a matter of fact, a couple of days ago I had an interesting incident happen too. I bought these, I'll show you here in the box. I bought these box of Fuji discs maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. I'll show you a close-up of one of them here. Hopefully the camera will show it here. Yeah, you can see it here. This is a Fujifilm disc. Now these were rated highly as far as archiving quality. Well, these blank discs, right now I've been slowly using them, and these blank discs are maybe 5 to 6 years old, and right now I'm getting about a 50% error rate on stuff I make with the disc, so basically they're useless. I probably burned about 8 coasters the other day trying to use them for data. I wasn't using them for backup, actually I was using them for data to send to somebody, so they were basically useless. And so I would say, as far as DVDs go, if you have important stuff to back up, like family photographs or things like that you want to pass on to generations to come, do not trust CD or DVD ROM discs for any kind of long-term backup. I mean, 5 to 6 years is just pitiful, and these were stored in very excellent conditions too. They were never in sunlight, they were never in extreme temperatures whatsoever, and already I'm getting a 50% error rate, so don't consider them for archival use. What I'm using at present to save stuff that I really want to keep is multiple hard drives, especially if you're into computers like I am. You probably have hard drives pulled out of old machines. Well, use those as backup drives. You can get either cases or adapters to be able to plug those in and then plug it into USB and back up all your essential data every so often, and take one of the disks and store it away somewhere, and then have another backup right on your machine itself, so you have 2 backup copies, and that way there's less chance that anything will be lost. I also think it's probably a decent strategy too to put something online. As far as video vloggers and stuff like that, I really believe that Google owning YouTube is probably a good thing for archival purposes, and most likely in another 10 to 15 years, maybe even quite longer, our YouTube videos will probably be preserved, although I wouldn't count on that. Don't make that by any means your only form of storage, because things can happen too. Your account could accidentally get deleted, and then all of a sudden you're even a bad copyright infringement that isn't even true can end up getting your account deleted, and then all your information is lost. But I want to point you to 2 articles here to read. One is kind of like a point counterpoint. The first one is a 2002 article from the BBC News where a guy talks about losing touch with the past, and there was a project done by the BBC called Preserving the Doomsday Book Project, and they used special laser discs. They made special laser discs to preserve and archive this information, but unfortunately you need a special Philips player to be able to play this. So he's arguing these proprietary formats like this can cause data to be lost, and I'm thinking about that myself too, that if you were to save something on a format that needed a computer to play it, suppose in 20, 30 years when your great-grandchildren have computers, or even farther into the future, are they even going to have things that even accept the kind of disks or the type of storage media you even want? And he gives an example too of the Voyager spacecraft. If you've studied in history, some of you maybe remembered, if you're my age, the Voyager spacecraft had an analog record with a needle included to play it. Well, if we launched a spacecraft now and we wanted to put archival material on it, would we put a CD-ROM disc on it or a DVD? And then how would we give proper instructions for some kind of an alien race to even access the information on the device? How would they even be able to make a player? I don't know if we'd give them information that somebody could interpret, but anyway, that's going a little bit farther than individual backup. But then there's also the second article countering that is from Technology Review in December of 2003, where he counters that and the fact that the Doomsday Project wouldn't be lost because of the player, because it's already been, because it was important information, it's been backed up already. But these are 2 interesting articles to look at. And I'd like you guys to tell me, what is your backup strategy and what do you think would last the longest? Can you come up with something that would last 30 to 50 years that you would be sure in 30 to 50 years? I'd say when it all boils down to it, my answer would be this: make sure, if you really want to preserve something for your great-grandchildren and even generations to come, put down things in writing. There's nothing like eyeballs, really, to be able to read information. They don't need any equipment. They don't need anything special. So put down things in writing. Make sure and actually print out some photographs, because even if they're faded and some of the information is lost, using eyeballs you can still recover the majority of the information, at least to know what people look like. I have some old family photographs too that they're about half faded out, but you can still get a look of what people look like. So I would suggest, if you really want to preserve something for generations to come, still the best way to read the information is always eyeballs. And last up, I'm going to give you a link to the Wall Street Journal article about someone that I featured a couple of weeks ago. My friend from Yokohama, Senba Masaki, just sent me an email saying that there was a Wall Street Journal article printed about him driving along the Japanese coastline and preserving some of the coastline on video that's no longer there. And as a matter of fact, his latest video, he actually posted a video of when he was at Fukushima before the coastline was totally devastated by the tsunami. So if you get a chance, check out that video at Senba Masaki's channel, and I will post the link to the Wall Street Journal article that they did a really nice write-up on him and what he's doing to preserve some of the Japanese history just by driving around in his car. So that's about it for this week. Take care, everybody. I will catch you next week.